Welcome into Jets Nation Radio. I'm Angus Hout. Sam? We got Sam here. Before we get to Sam, though, we got to do a couple of things. Make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast wherever you're tuning in, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts. Is that the thing, Sam?
Yeah,
that's the thing. And YouTube, make sure likes and subscribes go a long way. Comments as well. Be sure to check out Betway to check out the latest Jets game day odds and bet on the NHL. And check out jetsnation.ca. We're actually on pace to have the third best month ever in jetsnation.ca. So the hard work is going to pay off.
Are we only 5 days into the month?
We are, but
that's a good pace. I like it.
It is a good pace. I'm really happy with what we're doing here. So two articles a day, man. If we can crush that, and then maybe in 3 months crush our best month ever. Oh, the dreams will come
climbing
true.
That ladder.
Yeah, man. Chase your dreams. If you're a kid listening to this, ask your parents what are they doing and are they good parents, and chase those dreams. Even if you're 26. Where's your supervisor? Sam, what are your thoughts on the trade deadline? Because oh boy.
I mean, anything but underwhelming would be a disservice for me to say right there. That was it could have been better. I guess it could have been worse. I don't know how. I guess not getting El Nino would have been worse. And it was rough. I was expecting a lot more, one way or the other. I think sitting pat was not the best move for the Jets, but there is a little bit of recency bias that comes with that because the team was playing really poorly. And I mean, every team other than the Boston Bruins goes through their rough patches. Hopefully last night's game against Edmonton will help break the Jets out of that rough patch, but I would have liked to see another move or two, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I'm not trying to be shady here. I just the sun's in my eyes, and I
can tell it's hitting me through the computer here.
Surprised. I love this recording space, but I hate it at the same time because the sun's just hitting it perfect. But yeah, underwhelming is the word I would use. And really, he was only one piece away from being a success, really.
I think it was one like middle six forward, probably a center.
Yeah.
From being a fantastic trade deadline. I know a lot of people wanted a defenseman, but ultimately our D aren't in the worst spot, but our depth scoring is an issue. Apparently not anymore after last night, but it would have been nice to see another center come in.
You want to talk about having things in the cupboard that you didn't know about? Kyle Capobianco last night. That was a fun game. Like, that's what I wanted to see from Nate Schmidt from the beginning. We haven't seen that once from Nate Schmidt. And there's Kyle Capobianco lighting it up, taking shots, just getting out there and skating his ass off. I want to see more of him.
Who plays Monday?
Kyle Capobianco.
I think so.
And Dylan Samberg. That was a good pairing.
I wholeheartedly agree. However, it's the Winnipeg Jets. And I mean, like, Logan Stanley should never see the ice for the team again.
No.
It's too bad they didn't trade him. Capobianco looks solid. I think all year he has not been a liability defensively, and he does bring, like, he has a hell of a shot.
Yeah.
So I would like to see, I love Nate Schmidt. I'd like to see that same decor on Monday.
Yeah, I would too. If they can keep proving things to you, and it's like, that's the one thing I dislike about a lot of NHL coaches is actually, besides John Cooper last night, you're not going to sit your multi-million-dollar players for somebody that's obviously playing better. Like, this is frustrating that you can see such a good game, and odds are we're not going to see Capobianco Monday night because
I hope Bonus is smart enough to put him in. I get it. You don't want $6 million players sitting up in the press box, but if it makes your team better, do it.
Yeah,
I get it. It sucks, but do it.
Yeah. I mean, really, why would you hurt the team? It sucks for the billionaires up top, and even your GM was like, oh, it's really sucks. I could have more here, but whatever, man. Like,
I mean, the Jets left cap space on the table, so let's not talk about, oh, I could have done more if I didn't have that contract. Like, yeah. Sure. But I mean, you're paying the guy anyways. I get you want him to do the job, but the whole thing, this entire, the reason you're doing this is to win hockey games.
I look at it and this way.
You should screw the money side of it, how much each guy's getting paid. You should put in the best lineup that gives you the best chance to win every game.
Yeah. I mean, like, I look at it as like a blue collar guy where it's just sometimes your third pairing defenseman doesn't need to be making $5 million. Go throw out the guy that's like excited to be there, maybe working a little bit harder than the expensive guy, but damn it, hi buddy. But you know, it happens. But you know, get the grinder out there because he's gonna work and he wants to be there and wants to continue to be there rather than the expensive guy who's, you know, he's there for the paycheck at this point.
And I mean, Schmidt's smiling no matter where he is. Of course he wants to play hockey, but I mean, yeah, I think you put in, I would always like to see those young guys get a bit more of a chance.
Is Capobianco young still? I think he's like, isn't he like 26 or 27?
That's young-ish.
Also going back to Logan Stanley, how does he not get traded at the deadline after like the day before being like, yeah, I want out of Winnipeg, I request a trade? Like, what is poor timing from Logan Stanley?
Yeah, what a dick. Just like, you have no leverage. You've been terrible every time you've touched the lineup. The team traded up for you in the first round. You're an RFA this year. Off. Like, I wish they'd sent him to Arizona. Go rot in a 2,000 seat rink, you asshole.
Yeah, I was just like, such bad timing. It was like, you can kick rocks. Like, I was trying to hold in there for Logan Stanley because he had a good, like, there were a couple.
I wanted to see him succeed, but and the way he went about it, like, go to the team so they at least have some leverage. I've talked about this before. Like, you don't need to make it public. No. I feel like when you do make it public, there's even less chance you're going to get traded.
Yeah.
Because now the team doesn't have leverage. Why would they give you up for less?
Yeah. Honestly, just so dumb and ignorant from him and his agent. And I stand by what I said a couple weeks ago because no lawyers have contacted me since, but lawyers are pieces of shit and still prove me wrong.
I'm not arguing. Capobianco's 25.
25. Okay. I knew he was right around my age.
He's a young, spry 25. I mean, Dylan Samberg's 24.
What?
But he is an early birthday. He's 2 years younger, but still. He came into the league late. I mean, he got drafted and then he played 3 years of college hockey and then a year with the Moose. So.
I've liked Dylan Samberg so much. Like, even that he had that poor game against like, why did he get set out against Edmonton that first game? Like, was that a poor performance in LA? Because I didn't think it was that bad.
I didn't think so. I do like mixing up the lineup on a back-to-back. I think it's absurd rolling out the same guys. Why not rotate in some fresh players, especially with only 22 hours between games? You're playing the same team. I think absolutely. Like, you change goalies. Why wouldn't you mix up the defensemen if you have them on your roster already?
Yeah. But also, what's up with Connor Hellebuyck these days? Because he's had some pretty sketchy performances lately.
Yeah. The last two, I mean, it's Leon Driasaitl.
Oh, man.
He shut down McDavid, but no one was paying attention to Driasaitl.
Can Leon Draisaitl just piss right off? Like, how are you finding these corners? Like, I get it. You're like probably the third best player in the NHL right now, but damn it, man. Can you take a break for just 2 minutes?
You could argue he's the second best player.
Yeah. I mean,
who gets it ahead of him?
I say Mitch Marner.
Mitch Marner's not even the best player on his team.
You don't think so? I think that
Austin Matthews is better than Mitch Marner. I hate Matthews. He's just better. He just is. I would have made Matthews or McKinnon the argument for second best player, but
see, and like when I look at that argument, that I would probably put McKinnon, and I would definitely put McKinnon ahead of Driasaitl.
I could see that for sure.
Like, as an overall player. But if I'm building a team, I'm building a team with Driasaitl.
We've had that argument before.
I know, and I still
you're objectively wrong.
I'm objectively right.
But
but like, I don't know, maybe not starting as 18-year-olds. I'd take Connor, because Connor took it way more seriously than Leon. Leon needed Connor McDavid. But I'm saying, as like an overall, I think that Leon would be a better overall leader.
You cannot look at the year that McDavid's having and say he's not the one you take.
I'm not even gonna, like, yeah, I know that he is the GOAT, but I don't know. Gretzky couldn't do it by himself, and Messier.
Yeah, McDavid just passed Gretzky's single season power play points record for the team.
Yeah, great. Give me like solo stats or whatever. I'm just saying that if it
play on the same team.
If it came down to it, I'm going to build a team around Mark Messier over Wayne Gretzky.
McDavid has 26 more points than Draisaitl.
Yeah, and Wayne Gretzky was 1,000 times better than Mark Messier. Mark Messier could win a Stanley Cup without Gretzky. Gretzky needed Messier, and I'm putting the same comparison to Leon and Draisaitl, or to McDavid and Draisaitl.
That's one man's opinion.
That's
wrong opinion.
No, what do you mean wrong opinion? Mark Messier won more cups without Wayne Gretzky.
Was there a finish to that sentence?
No,
then Gretzky did without Messier.
Yeah.
If it weren't for Gretzky, Messier would not have 6 Stanley Cups.
Yeah, I'm well aware of
whatever the hell it is.
Gretzky couldn't win a cup by himself, is what I'm getting.
He probably could have.
He didn't. Messier. Why didn't he though? He had like 12
because years. During his prime, the years he was dominating, Messier was also there.
Your logic is flawed, man. Flawed.
And you also cannot go just solely based off of Stanley Cups.
Well, yeah.
Or the best player of all time is Henri Richard. He's got 11. He must be the best player of all time.
There's obviously more to go into it, because then I could be.
It's just Kevin Lowe's a better Stanley Cups.
Yeah, because Kevin Lowe's definitely a better guy to build a team around.
I don't make the rules.
I'm not. That's not at all what I'm saying. You're hearing something and you're clipping the headlines. This is fake news, Samuel. This is why my opponents can't handle me, because they just have to.
I can't take you serious wearing those sunglasses.
Oh my goodness. Getting back on topic here, because this is not
I don't even know how we got here.
Fuck you, Leon Draisaitl. You're scoring too many pretty goals against the Jets. That's what we're getting at.
But hey, the Jets won one. That's the important part.
You know what? And they had 2 good games this week. Like that game against LA. That's what you want to see out of this team.
I thought you were talking about the first Edmonton game. I was like, I mean,
no.
That game against LA was good, but you can't give up 3 2-goal leads.
No, you can't. And like, what's with these, veterans or these old guys having games against the Oilers or against the Jets? Like, you got Nuge and Kopitar, both of them having 4-point nights, 4-goal nights, 4-point nights against the Jets. I think Leon had a 4-point night. Did he?
Leon almost got his 4th goal.
Yeah, it was ridiculous what that guy was doing.
Speaking of 4-goal nights, how about Connor Bedard beating the Winnipeg Ice single-handedly? 4 goals and an assist in a 5-3 win?
Yeah, ridiculous. That guy's insane. A cheat code. We were talking to our buddy Darnell about this. He said that Bedard will not be a superstar.
He said he'll be a really good player, not a superstar. He said the dub is weaker than it used to be.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, like you look at the dub and there's like elite teams and then there's teams.
But are you willing to say that the World Juniors is worse than it used to be?
No, that guy showed up.
And did he not break records at the World Juniors?
Yeah. And like,
so I don't know. I think he's going to just light it up next year. Like he will be in the league next year and he will be hands down rookie of the year unless there's some 25-year-old that comes in and plays his lights out.
Well, that and
Michael Bunting.
Yeah. And as long as he doesn't get hurt, I think that's going to be the big thing because, you know, I don't think Cole Perfetti would have won Calder this year, but, you know, he would have had a half
of course you've got to stay healthy, but
yeah. But yeah, and you're looking at what Connor McDavid does right now too, and he's at the peak of his career, and I still think there's maybe one more peak to climb for that guy, and he's only 26.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
So I think he's got 2 more years before he hits that ultimate peak, and like,
but the way these guys train and treat their bodies now, like that peak might be extending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I guess it's all how healthy do you stay and all of that. But I mean, you look at some of the situations, like, yeah, the team itself is bad, but say Bedard goes to Columbus, he could have Patrick Laine and Johnny Gaudreau as his line mates.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That'd be insane.
That's wild.
Does Gary Bettman
for first year?
Does Gary Bettman let him go to Columbus to save that team?
If Gary Bettman had his way, he'd already be in Arizona.
Yeah, the team that's circumventing you want to talk about circumventing the cap? My God,
what an embarrassment to the NHL.
Honestly,
and Bettman, as much as everyone hates him, and I'm not a fan, he has grown the league.
Yes,
the expansion teams, the new markets, getting the league into California, into the desert, Vegas. Into Dallas, Vegas. But that's a failed project that he's hanging on to and should just let go of. Yeah. There's got to be other markets other new hockey markets that can support a team.
Yeah, and it's like there'd be nothing embarrassing. It might be embarrassing for him a little bit, but I would see no problem in realistically just say, like, you know what? I have took an L on this one, but we're going to be far more successful in X. Don't give it to Atlanta because, my God, I don't want to see a third team. And it was an alleged rumor from some beat report.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I saw that. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Scottsdale or Phoenix rather has such a massive population. If you did it right, it would be super successful. Mm-hmm. But they've had almost 30 years now to get it right. Like the Jets moved before I was even born, the original Jets.
Yeah, I was born the summer that they went to Arizona.
Yeah. And like you've had 26 years now of failure. And now they're just this joke of a franchise.
Mm-hmm. And it's like they had one good shot at it 12 years ago. And that's it. And I really feel bad for the franchise. Like they deserve so much better than what they have.
Well, you gotta give the fans a reason to support.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, like what's Phoenix's population?
I would say probably 2-1.
1.6.
1.6. Oof.
But I mean, they have Tucson's right there. That's another $500,000.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's the 5th biggest city in the US.
Well, why not go to the 4th biggest and go to Houston?
I just like something, you got to figure something out or move that team, but you can't just let them play in a college rink.
Mm-hmm. And only pay $48 million of real salary.
I mean, they're technically their roster. Like they 57% of their salaries are not actually are either pseudo retired or like cap dumps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just give teams ridiculous. A proper way to like pay these or like buy these out. because it's just getting ridiculous. I don't know. It breaks my heart for the league almost.
Well, it's just a shame that that Bettman's so focused on dragging the corpse of that organization.
Yeah. Well, like, does you pay attention to the NFL way more than I do? Does the NFL have that issue?
I'm trying to think who well, they have bad franchises, but there's a lot more money in the NFL, so no one really I'm trying to think. Actually, Arizona, there was recently report cards that came out, voted on by 1,300 players across the league. Arizona was dead last for it. It ranked facilities, staff, how they treat families, how they treat players, Arizona might have been second last, but they were right by the basement there.
Yeah.
Vikings were first.
Hey man, when you're up north, you got to treat people real well.
Oh, and they're a world-class organization that just can't win.
Poor guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get back to the Jets. Let's we've seen 2 games with Nino. How are you liking this guy?
2.
Yeah, 3. Did we get him for? No, we didn't see him in LA. No.
He's played 3 games.
Is he? Yes, you're absolutely correct, because he got traded last Saturday. My bad. We've seen him in 3 games.
Yeah.
Oops. 3 games, and you've liked what you've seen out of this guy, right?
I'm a big fan, right? Remember he had that massive hit in the LA game?
Yeah. Yes. Now I'm remembering it. There we go. I thought that came up in the Oilers game for some reason.
I mean, his first 2 games he was playing with Ehlers and Lowry.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fantastic. I think him, Dubois, and Ehlers would have been a lot better, obviously. I think he and Dubois would be a terror together.
Yeah.
And would probably open up some room for Nicky out there. But I thought Scheif and Connor were unreal last night.
Oh, yeah.
They were fun to watch.
I was waiting for my Connor goal, actually, because put some money down on that. So
yeah, no, I'm very happy about that one. And I didn't watch as closely as I could have yesterday. But how was what's his name?
Vladislav
Nemestikov.
Yeah. I like him.
He had an assist. He's a good defensive guy.
Yeah, and he was just getting in there. He was, he felt very much a part of the team. Yeah, I was a big fan of Nemestikov. He seems like he fits in well with this team, and I think and Saku Manalainen actually had a half decent couple of shifts last night as well.
Yeah,
really, once that guy moves his legs, I find everyone moves their legs. And Adam Lowry coming off the schneid last night too, almost feels like it's been 30 games of bad hockey for the Jets. So maybe Lowry was the guy that.
I think this can kind of turn around now.
Yeah.
They had some bad games, but ultimately it's still a good hockey team. You need Connor Hellebuck to play well. You need your defensemen to do namely Josh Morrissey. You need Morrissey to be out there doing Norris caliber things. And then your top line guys finally started going. I think this lineup, if you look at the forwards once Dubois is back, it's not terrible.
No.
Dubois and Appleton. So let's say,
really,
and I guess Perfetti once you come playoffs. Sorry?
You're still on the Appleton train?
As a 4th liner, yeah.
I'll give him some time on the 4th line. You know what? At this point, I've seen way more out of Sam Gagner than I've seen out of Mason Appleton, especially over the last 10 games. You compare those two side by side in their last 10 games, Sam Gagner is a far more effective player.
They kind of play different roles, though.
They do, but what is Mason Appleton really doing? Even on the 3rd line, I saw more out of Sam Gagner than I have out of Mason Appleton. He has not been good enough, and for what we pay for him, I'll throw Sam Gagner out on the ice every night.
I don't think, I probably wouldn't replace Appleton with Gagner in that case. So let's just back it up a little bit. So we got top 6 when everyone's healthy, including Perfetti. So our top 6 is, what are we going? Scheifele, Connor,
I'm gonna
Nino,
say
or
Nino. Yeah,
Perfetti?
I'll say Nino. I think that trio works really well together.
And then you have Dubois, Ehlers, Perfetti.
Yeah.
Well, I thought was just solid together last year, the few chances they got before Perfetti got hurt. Okay, third line, Lowry,
Wheels.
And do you go Nemestikov? Do you go Barron?
You know what? Barron on the fourth line has been so good. I go Nemestikov on your
and then that's fully your shutdown line. I guess Wheeler, but I think Barron has a little more offensive upside than Nemestikov does to play with Wheeler.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from there.
That's also why I think another center would have been good.
Yeah. But because Kevin Stanley wins so many of his faceoffs, and like that's kind of why I asked you guys yesterday, do you put Adam Lowry on your left wing and you have Barron or Gusto and Stenny? Because like they win the majority of their faceoffs.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I just don't think Stenlin's a third line center. I also I don't think Lowry has been, but yeah, that's a tough one for me. I think Lowry's got to be that center spot. But either way, Lowry, Barron, Wheeler, or Nemestikov and Wheeler, whatever. Yeah. And then you have Stenlund. Yeah, I guess Stenlund, Nemestikov, and either Appleton or
Gags,
Coleman, or
what is
Gustafson
Coleman still doing here?
I don't know. But I would probably even put Gustafson in there.
Yeah, I'd be okay with Gusto.
He doesn't have a lot of offensive upside though, but Stenlund, Nemestikov, Gustafson would be a shutdown fourth line.
Honestly, yeah, that'd be a scary line. And like I find that Stenlund has been able to elevate his game to be a third line player. Like he's a little bit lazy. I think he's got more potential in him than
I think he's fine in a pinch.
Yeah,
if I'm not one saying of the guys above him in the lineup gets hurt, but Nemestikov's also a center. So I think going forward, he would be the guy that would fill into a center. Like if say Dubois was hurt more long term, I could see Nemestikov going up into that spot rather than.
I would take Gusty.
In second line center.
Oh, second.
Yeah, I'm talking who would replace like Lowry. I just don't think. I think Nemestikov is a little bit more than Lowry there.
Yeah.
If again, that's worst case scenario, Dubois or Scheifele gets hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand why you'd want another centerman. I get that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like when Neil Pionk is on his game and things are going well for him, he is a very good defenseman. Okay, very good is the wrong term. He is a good defenseman.
He's a goddamn liability.
But when he is playing poorly, he is such a liability. Yeah, I wish we could have seen like a one-hit white note.
I think the bad outweighs the good.
Yes.
In the last
but we saw a good game from him.
Years.
Yes, absolutely. I do agree with that. But last night we did see a good game out of Neil Pionk.
And maybe he'll elevate himself in the playoffs.
Maybe.
I'm hoping.
We saw him do it in the last time he was in the playoffs. He definitely likes to step up his game.
Hopefully that comes because as of right now, he should not be a second line defenseman or second pair.
No, he was playing on the top pair last night with Jomo.
Jesus.
Like it was actually working. It's been a long time since that pair's worked.
Yeah. I guess you're throwing everything at the wall and hoping something sticks right now. But yeah, I understand why people would have liked to see a defenseman. I think a lot of people who were saying that were thinking like I don't want to stereotype or generalize, but I feel like a lot of people who are saying the Jets need a defenseman are older and want like a big, tough, let's beat him up defenseman when in reality, the Jets have, Brendan Dillon, they have Dylan Samberg. They're both big guys. Dylan DeMello is not tiny. Like I think that would have been the bad move. And they probably, all of those people would have been wanting to take Samberg out, would be my feeling. A lot of the people that think the Jets should have moved for a big, tough defenseman when you have one who's playing well.
Yeah, and it's such a good price too.
And he's young, and you want these guys to get their reps.
Yeah. Yeah. And like Dylan Samberg has been a fairly consistent defenseman. Obviously, there's been not great nights, and he's a defensive defenseman, so he's not going to get the accolades he deserves. But man, you could probably put him in like top 10 of Calder voting at this point. You get a consistent guy that's
I do agree, but unfortunately those awards are points based.
Yes, and that's why I said like he's not going to win. He's not going to get the accolades
or even be in the conversation. But
I've seen his name pop up a few times with writers.
I like that.
Yeah. And like not big writers by any means, but there's been a couple of smaller writers who have mentioned his name that are from the East Coast. So I'm like, all right, we can hang with that.
It's such a shame Perfetti got hurt.
Yeah, it really is.
Such a loss. Hopefully he's back for playoffs. For a deep run.
It would, yeah, he would basically be coming back for the second round if we got there, and we have to get there. Sorry, one more going back to the Cheveldayoff and the trade deadline. I just wanted to give everyone this stat that I shared with you last night. 65% of Jets fans give Cheveldayoff a D grade or lower. 30% were D, and 35% of voters on a 500-person poll on Instagram said he was an F. So
I think I gave him a D there. It's not an F. You got two players for cheap. I mean, Nino for a next year second round pick, a guy that looks like he could potentially end up on our top line.
Right.
Or like 1A, 1B, you know.
Yeah, we know how the Jets roll.
Like a guy who's going to be in our top six, essentially, for a down the road second round pick. And then Nemestikov, again, you get him for half price because Tampa retained, and a fourth round pick 2 years from now.
Yeah. Like
that's not bad.
Yeah. And like really, and that's kind of where I said D plus, and thinking back, it's like it's almost a C minus, but just looking at the window, I think that kind of takes back from what Cheveldayoff has done. One
more trade really would have pushed it up. Yeah. I hesitate to call it an F though, because he didn't make any bad trades.
Mm-hmm.
The year the big trade was for Kevin Hayes, that's an F.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it just is. Unless you're making really bad trades, like overpaying. If he had given up the price for Tanner Genot or Genot, whatever his name is, that Tampa gave, I'd say that might be an F.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that it's hard to fail him for not making more. I also you never know. I don't like that he didn't go more in on JVR.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently they weren't even offered a fourth round pick for him. I would have given them a fourth round pick in a heartbeat for JVR.
Yeah, it would have been just trying to make that money work. So yeah, you would have had to send a couple pieces out because I
feel like the Jets still have like a fourth and a sixth to have them retain to make it work.
Well, he's $7 million. The Jets have
$7 million.
Yeah, that was what JVR was making.
Jesus.
Yeah, man. that was a heavy contract.
I kind of understand Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it's just for the end of the year. So if you could get a team to retain for a cheap piece, but I guess
so that's a fourth right there, plus whatever you got to give to Philly.
Yeah, you might have to give like a fifth or a sixth to try and.
Yeah, and I think what frustrated a lot of other fans is you look at what Calgary and Minnesota did, two teams that are, also kind of in that tight race with the Jets. And it's like they sold things off, but also got a little bit more in return.
Well, Washington.
Yeah, that too.
They kind of retooled. They sold off some of their pending UFAs and brought in some other guys to fill out around that unreal core. So yeah, I think more needed to be done one way or another.
Mm-hmm. But the pieces he brought in, man, those were magnificent. They fit. early on, those pieces fit well with this team. And you're like, yeah, we might be back in business there, boys and girls.
Well, and again, the West is still wide open.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Colorado's good. Dallas didn't make a ton of moves. Edmonton they probably made the biggest move with the Ekholm trade.
Yeah,
but they're still Edmonton. They still have Jack Campbell in net.
Yeah. And like,
for 4 more years at $5 million a year after this, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And like, and that's kind of why I criticized that on TikTok this week. I overspoke and said the Oilers got fleeced, if anyone has seen that video, but I do kind of stand by the fact that the Oilers kind of got the wrong thing. It's like, yeah, you guys have been needing a defenseman like this, but you can't win a series if your goaltending tandem is like this messed up. So that's kind of why I'm just like, Ken Holland, you did good. I like the trade. I wish we got Ekholm, but good Lord.
Yeah.
And also just, there was also that recency bias where the Jets only paid a second for Nino.
Exactly. And it would have been cool to see a bundle with Nino and Ekholm. Like so many people were making bundles. Mm-hmm. I mean, they took on Tyson Barrie. Maybe they would have taken on Neil Pionk.
Right? Oh, man.
You're going to pay for it, but
that Ekholm on this team.
Can you imagine a top pair of Morrissey and Ekholm?
Oh, man. And like Ekholm was playing so mean against the Jets last night. And like, I was just like, I wish we got that guy. That
would have been nice. That would have, yeah.
I would have paid.
But
would you have paid what the Oilers paid for him? Like that was what, 2 good prospects. So let's just say it was Lambert and Lucius.
I wouldn't have. No, absolutely not. Not both of them. Though that's 2 first-round picks last year. Would you give up 2 first-round picks for Mattias Ekholm?
I'm trying to think. Let's actually pull up the trade on this because I'm trying to think.
I'm getting it up right here.
Oh, bless your heart. Because yeah, I believe it was 2 Tyson Barrie, a prospect, and a first. There must have been and a 4th round for the retention. I think if my brain is correctly remembering. I guess our friends at Oilers Nation probably have the answer.
Where is this trade?
Yeah, you'll find it eventually here, but we'll use this time to shout out our good friends at Betway. So be sure to check out Betway to check out the latest Jets game day odds and bet on the NHL. And you should check out those Betway articles I've got going up at jetsnation.ca every day, because there's not every day, but Jets game days. Yeah. If you go check out those articles, we'll definitely make this the 2nd best month ever on jetsnation.ca. Yeah, I'm bragging about the website. I've been putting in the effort. We're 5 days into March and we're looking to crush our 3rd best month ever. So check out jetsnation.ca. I'm very proud of myself. And everyone else that's helped me out with this. Samuel.
Yes. So it was Mattias Ekholm and a 2024 6th for Tyson Barrie, Reed Schaefer. I don't know.
He was a 1st round pick, I believe, in 22 or 21.
Okay. This year's 1st rounder and next year's 4th rounder.
So let's just say that's Lambert. Do you pull the trigger? And Pionk?
Lambert, Pionk, this year's 1st. Yeah.
It's an overpayment, but it's that overpayment that you need.
Does Ekholm have term?
Yes. God, this is the worst Jets podcast ever. We love those Oilers. God.
No, well, we're discussing a potential trade. He has 3 more years at 6.25.
Ooh.
So yes, I would.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Just for the years.
Yeah, and like that's the thing, is long term. So
yeah,
it was an overpayment, but it hurts a little bit, but man, that could make your team good for a long time.
I mean, that means your top pair for the next 3 years is Morrissey and Ekholm.
But that's also old.
One of them plays on the 2nd pair, and that's unreal.
But you're also going to get 33-year-old Mattias Ekholm, I believe, by that point.
He's 32 now, so by the end of it, he's going to be 30. Yeah.
So and that's kind of where it hurts.
That is true. The end of it might be rough, but the Jets might be rebuilding by then.
Yeah, and I guess you do need a good veteran presence in the room.
I don't know. I just like maybe not. I am happy that Lucius, McGroarty, and Lambert are all still Jets.
Yeah, because like you look at those three and what can they do for you when Kyle Connor and Ehlers, God willing, they're both here. What are they going to look, or are those three going to look like when we get to that point when, those the veterans, quote unquote, are getting closer to the end of their career?
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting to
It
see.
will
I
be.
mean,
And I mean, it feels like we get two generations of Jets kind of at the same time all the time. So,
well, it's going to be an interesting next year, pretty much a year exactly, to see, do the Jets get guys re-signed this summer? Like Scheifele, Wheeler, Hellebuck, DeMello, Dillon.
Well, okay, let's save that for the next podcast. We'll talk about each of those individually because like no issue going long here. But yeah, like we'll break those down. We'll see, like, should those guys re-sign? Why would they? Why wouldn't they? Because
well, I also think that guys might be pissed off the team didn't do more at the trade deadline. Like, it's one thing for the fans, but I mean, if I'm a player, I would have liked the team to make one more move just to show us, like, hey, we believe in you guys. Here's another piece.
Do you think that Cheveldayoff believes in his defensive core more than anything else?
I don't know. I like he keeps everything so like close to the vest. It's hard to know what Cheveldayoff is doing at any time.
He recently bought this core, or like I guess your middle pair of Schmidt and Dillon. And Neil Pionk is still we're 4 years into that experiment.
I mean, other than Samberg and Morrissey, all of the guys were trades.
Yeah,
Pionk, DeMello.
So I mean,
Schmidt,
like,
and Dillon.
Maybe he just wants to prove that these trades were good, and he still wants to look like that winner.
But I mean, you're putting your job on the line, and
I think that's where he's doubled. I feel like he's really doubled down. He's already doubled down with Scheifele and Wheeler. I think now he's starting to double down with his defensive group.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out in the next year and to watch all of that go down, because
it's ultimately going to be an ugly.
No one has any idea what Cheveldayoff's going to do.
Well, the fact that he hasn't talked to any of the free agents.
That was a little shocking.
Yeah, like I feel like that was a bit of a lie, but I guess every agent talks these days, so whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I genuinely hope they get some stuff done. I could see Dubois signing a 1-year deal and then.
I don't want them to sign. I don't want to lose him for nothing. I don't think he's a Jet next season.
You don't think so? I think they treat him as a rental player.
Why? I don't.
And then like you see what you have by the time.
Unless I think you could get so much for him this summer. I think you have to.
But with Connor Hellebuck in the net, you still have a legitimate chance of being that.
Yeah, but you could. I mean, if you get a bunch of pieces back, you then could potentially
move Josh Anderson and 2 firsts within the next 5 years. Montreal's not going to pay anything for PLD. Maybe we got a good.
I could see him going maybe a sign and trade. Yeah, like Matthew Tkachuk's was last year, but I could see a contender next year wanting him. That's not Montreal, and treating him as a rental. But I don't think that's the right move for the Jets. But we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I gotta get out of the delusion of my head that this team is immediately going to win the cup, because I guess I'm looking through those rose-tinted
I also
glasses.
think it depends. Like, if you extend Scheifele and Hellebuck, I think that all changes.
Judging by their attitude Friday night, I think that they are pretty upset and might have made up their mind on if they're going to stick around or not.
I don't know.
But I mean, Scary or who's that guy from North Bay? Our goaltender from there.
I don't think I can pronounce his name.
We have tried this many times. Either way, the North Bay goalie,
Dominic or whatever,
Dominic Da Vinci over in North Bay, man, he's having himself one hell of a season. We're gonna get this guy on the podcast. He's gonna pronounce his name for us. I promise you that. Actually, I can't promise you that. I want to try though. Yeah, he's just been having a great season. Like, does he not have like the most wins out of North
broke
Bay?
The franchise record?
Yeah,
for the North Bay Battalion.
Yes. In the
that's the 31. Yeah, that's the 31 wins this year, maybe.
Yeah, good for him, because like North Bay doesn't get a whole lot of funding or love. So going out there and making some noise, good on him. So hopefully the future of the goaltending is covered, because I'd like that to be.
Hopefully we don't have to find out too soon, because it would be nice to see Hellebuck for another couple of years.
Right. But
Jets.
It'd be nice to have that ability to have like a Pekka Rinne situation where we turn into UC Soros. I'm always mad at teams that like just have a constantly good goaltender.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Jets have been lucky with Hellebuck.
Yeah, but
hopefully they can do something.
Yeah, because it's nice to have Hellebuck. Like that gives he is the backbone of this team. Without him, like, we've seen it. The Jets don't play well. There's only so much one man can do. And he can put this team on his back and win you series, but he's not going to win you the cup by himself.
No, well, I mean, no single person's going to win the cup by themselves, but he's going to give you a chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can. Sidney Crosby won those cups in 2016. Won that cup in 2016.
You mean Matt Murray?
No, that was not Matt Murray. That was all. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah. I just want to praise Sidney Crosby every now and then. Wow, we've covered everything. This was a fun podcast. I didn't even need to look at my notes. Samuel, we
flew through it.
We did. We've got a decent week ahead of us. We've got San Jose, Minnesota, Florida, and Tampa Bay between now and next Sunday.
After San Jose, the Jets schedule gets really, really tough. Like, in an 8-day span, they play Minnesota, Florida, Tampa the next night, Carolina, Boston. And then that's a wild week.
I'm not going to even say anything about the week after that, because the last time I said something about that kind of a week, we got
Nashville, St. Louis, kicked. Arizona, Anaheim. Yeah. But I mean, even just like getting past Minnesota, you play in 6 nights, you play Florida, Tampa, Carolina, Boston in 4 different cities. That's a tough week.
It is. Enjoy the next 3 games, though, like San Jose, Minnesota, and Florida. I like that week.
You should, Jets should be able to get out of this week with 3 wins. Like, they need to.
They need to. Yeah, you really do need to walk away with 3 wins.
When you look at the standings, it's getting a little bleak. Nashville is 6 points behind the Jets.
But 3 games in hand still? With
3 games in hand. Colorado's 1 point behind the Jets with 3 games in hand. Bastards. I mean, yeah, it's like the Jets are in 3rd now. We're 4 points behind Minnesota, even games. We're 7 points behind Dallas, even games.
Is Nashville really going to turn it around, though? Like, it's really
just the traded away a bunch of guys.
Yeah, but it's the Flames that we need to worry about of teams. So the philosophy is, as long as you make it into the playoffs, anything can happen.
Especially this year in the West.
Yeah. Yeah. But man, people need to shut up about, the East. It's like, you got to play 7 games against the East. Worry about them when we get there. For now, worry about the 21 games ahead.
Let them beat up on each other for the first 3 rounds.
Yeah. You might get half Brad Marchand showing up and, might not be able to do anything.
Boston, wild that they got Tyler Bertuzzi.
And then, if Taylor Hall gets healthy during playoffs, my God, watch out for that team.
That's nuts.
You know what? I'm excited for a potential Toronto-Boston second round. I think that's going to be.
You think Toronto's?
I think Toronto breaks it this year. I think so. I think they finally get past. I think Tampa Bay breaks down.
This would be their record-setting year, though. I also think they beat Tampa, but if this would be 7 years in a row of a first-round exit, which would break the record.
Man, how heartbreaking. Like, I would laugh so hard and I'd be in just so much joy, but poor everyone in Toronto at that point too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, they hear
Toronto.
about themselves enough. They've had a cup parade planned since 1965. Or they've had it planned. They're waiting. I meant 68.
Yeah, they're ready for it.
They're ready. But we're ready.
I
We're
mean, and
more
then
ready
even
for
if you
it.
somehow get through Boston, you're coming up against either Carolina or the Rangers or the Devils. Like,
honestly, how is no one talking about, like, more people need to be talking about the Rangers and how good they are. They went 24-4 over the last 28.
and I mean, their top six is just ridiculous.
It is terrifying how great, like, the East has just built a bunch of all-star teams.
Yeah, honestly, like it's an arms race in the East.
It really
and in
is.
the West, it's like, hey, Matthias Ekholm. Hey, Nino Niederreiter.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yo, did you guys hear about Evgeny Dadonov? Yeah, and like Jacob Chikrin going out for absolutely nothing too. Man,
I know after like 3 years of hyping up that trade, it was super underwhelming.
Yeah, like Arizona got just robbed on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a weird trade deadline. I'm excited for the Stanley Cup playoffs now. And like, really, all we can do is sit and wait as fans.
I'm always excited for the playoffs, so
I am too. Just this year feels like it's going to be something extra.
Yeah.
The first two rounds, anyways. I'm not sure about the third round, especially in the West, but yeah,
it should be good. Could be cool.
Could be cool. I mean, the Stanley Cup finals, minus last year, have always just, for the last number of years to memory, has been like one weird team you don't expect, and this juggernaut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the juggernaut being the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Tampa Bay Lightning.
I feel like last year was pretty predictable.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you expected Tampa and Colorado to show up, but I mean, when's the last time we had the two number?
But the 2 years before that, yeah, Dallas,
but
and
then you got St.
Montreal.
Louis before that, St. Louis and Boston before that. Boston was a pretty good team.
St. Louis came into the playoffs hot, though.
They did, but like they were also like this, historically bad team up until that point. They were a bit out of nowhere. No one expected this.
That is true. That is true.
So,
and then was it Vegas and Washington the year before?
Yeah, who saw Vegas coming?
Yeah, no one. At the start of the year, no one. During the year, it made sense.
Yeah, but it always seems like it's just one random team you didn't really expect, especially that Dallas year.
Yeah, well, Bones is going to do that with the Jets this year.
Yeah, except for this time he's going to hoist his first cup.
Yeah.
We're going to party like we're going to party bigger than it was for.
I don't know, like 1904. When was the last time the Jets or Winnipeg team won the cup?
Yo,
it's like early 1900s.
How can you dare disrespect the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and their back-to-back Grey Cup wins?
Well, we're going to be the city of champions if the Jets win, because the Bombers better win the Grey Cup next year.
Really,
they're so stacked.
And the Ice better pull off a Memorial Cup win.
It's going to be tough. Seattle's unreal.
Oh, yeah. I'm well aware how good that team is. You want to talk about stacked teams. That's it.
Yeah. Seattle's unreal. Sorry.
Oh, you're all good. I get it. It's that time of year where you got to cough everything up. So, I mean, I might as well ramble on and start to finish this podcast up. We've been going for about an hour. Look at us go.
It's a long one.
It is.
It got heated in the middle, and then we kind of calmed down a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I love the good debates about absolutely nothing. I hope everyone else does too. We'll find out on the statistics with the YouTube video. Just want to say thank you to if you've shown up to jetsnation.ca in the last couple of weeks, thank you so much. Without you, couldn't have this job, and we're hoping to make it bigger and better as we carry on. I'm heading out to Edmonton next week. Gonna go chat to the boys at Oilers Nation and celebrate 15 years of Oilers Nation. Big shout out to Betway. Be sure to check out Betway to check out the latest Jets game day odds and bet on the NHL. Sam, where can we find you out in the world?
Yeah, SBrownell12 on Twitter, Sam Brownell Radio on Instagram, and 730ckdm.com. if you're looking for news about Dauphin.
Yeah. Hey, man. Parkland news. It's important.
Yeah.
You can check out Jets Nation on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Just everything.
Just everything at this point, man. Look at us.
Spotify, YouTube,
yeah,
or Nation Network on YouTube.
Nation Network, and check out the Jets Nation radio channel here on YouTube as well. Like and subscribe everywhere, and tell your friends and family about this. And if you could give us a share, I'll give you a thumbs up. Maybe even a sticker one of these days. We might have a budget for stickers. Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I've got 3 designs that I've done up, and we've professionally touched them up as well. So. Oh boy, stickers. So if you want a sticker, share our stuff and I'll find you. We'll give you a sticker. All right, Sam, you have a great week. We'll talk to you again next Sunday.
Absolutely. Go Jets, go.
Go Jets, go. And peace and grace, friends. If I can figure out how to shut this off. There we go. Goodbye.